Welcome to TV Glimpse. On this video, the recap of Cobra Kai Season 4. If you want to watch the full recaps of Cobra Kai before watching Season 5, click here. To overcome John Kreese and his Cobra Kai dojo in the upcoming All Valley tournament, Danny LaRusso and Johnny Lawrence decide to work together and teach their students together. Kreese also decides to recruit some help and contacts his old war buddy, Terry Silver. Robby crashes at the Cobra Kai dojo for a few days, where Kreese and Tori try to convince him to join them, but he remains reluctant. Johnny and Daniel decide to learn each other's styles themselves, to have a better understanding between them. Kenny joins in the middle of the school year as a new kid, but he is bullied by Anthony LaRusso and his friends from the first day. He tells his older brother, who is in juvenile detention, who points him towards Robby for help. Tori is trying to support her family with multiple jobs, and Amanda visits her at work one day to insist that she stay away from her daughter, Sam. Tori loses her cool and her job in the process, and Amanda gets a visit from Kreese later on, who tells her to back off from Tori because she got a rough life. Once they decided to work together, Johnny takes the students of Miyagi-Do to learn some more offensive techniques, while Daniel teaches Miguel and the rest of the Eagle Fang the way of the Miyagi-Do. After some initial teething problems, the students eventually get the hang of it. Robby takes Kenny under his wing and teaches him and the rest of the Cobra Kai recruits the ways of Miyagi-Do. Terry Silver comes back and decides to hold back on the pattern of violence that has been running so far. He and Kreese visit Daniel and Johnny to offer a temporary moratorium on all fighting until the tournament. Silver wants to focus on winning the tournament and expanding Cobra Kai rather than seek out revenge. Kreese gets uneasy with Silver's approach but goes along with it. With Silver joining the fray, Daniel wants to take full charge of the students, but Johnny doesn't agree to that. They both get drunk and decide to fight to decide who gets to take the lead. When the fight ends in a draw, they decide to split back up and go their separate ways. The All Valley Tournament Committee decides to make some changes to the tournament style, introducing a skill competition as well, splitting the men and women into two divisions. While Cobra Kai is glad to hear this news, Miyagi-Do and Eagle Fang consider it a minor setback due to their split. Johnny and Miguel set out to recruit some girls to their team so that they can compete in the women's division, while Hawk joins Miyagi-Do to strengthen their men's group. Kenny still has to deal with Anthony and his friends who constantly terrorize him. Daniel tries to bring in Anthony and teach him the ways of Miyagi-Do, but Anthony lacks the patience or discipline to learn it all. He lies about his role in the issues with Kenny and eventually pays a price. Kenny picks a fight with them and intentionally gets caught. With strong evidence, the school realizes that Anthony and his friends were the aggressors and suspend them. Prom comes around and Tori attends with Robby as her date. They get into yet another scuffle with Miguel and Sam at the after party, and this leaves things between Miguel and Sam a little shaky because they got caught up in their rivalry when all they wanted was to have a simple fun night for themselves. Miguel comes back home to find Johnny all drunk and beaten up. He puts him in bed when Johnny decides to bare his feelings to Miguel. Miguel ultimately realizes that in his drunken haze, Johnny actually thinks he is talking to Robby, and this ends up hurting Miguel. The day of the tournament arrives, with all the dojos coming together to compete for the overall championship and for Kreese, LaRusso, and Lawrence to find out the outcome of their bets. Eventually, Sam and Tori make it to the finals of the women's division to set up a deciding grudge match. It comes down to the men's semifinals, where Robby faces Dimitri and Miguel faces Hawk. Dimitri puts on a good fight, but Robby goes through. During Hawk's fight with Miguel, Miguel ends up hurting his back, bringing the match to a halt. Miguel ends up with a muscle pull, and the doctor advises him to go by his gut when it comes to carrying on. Johnny gets caught up in the occasion and gives him a pep talk about going out there to prove he's the best. But with so much going on in his mind, Miguel decides he's just not in it anymore. He does not come out again for his semi-final, sending Hawk to the final via forfeit. Hawk and Robby face off in the final, but Robby dominates early on. Hawks look for advice and Daniel tells him to lean into his more offensive routes. There's an intense back and forth, but no one comes out on top as the final reaches its 3 minutes time limit and moves on to sudden death. Silver tells Robby to really use his anger and go all out, while Daniel talks Hawk to just go out and give it his best. Hawk ends up scoring the winning point and succeeding Miguel as the next All Valley Men's Champion. Amanda meets with Tori before the final and lets her know that she's glad she's getting the help that she needed while fighting Sam. Daniel makes peace with Johnny and asks him to stand in Sam's corner for the final. Johnny agrees to bury the hatchet and wishes Sam the best, when during a routine move, Tori accidentally elbows Sam in the eye and gets a warning. Silver tells Tori to attack the injured eye, but Kreese tells Tori to just fight her own way and win with honor. Tori wins the next point and immediately checks on Sam, but is mobbed by her celebrating teammate as she is handed her trophy. Sam wonders out loud to her dad about where they went wrong and then runs off in sadness, with Daniel unable to hold in his tears as well. The Cobra Kai students are heading to celebrate when Tori overhears a conversation between Silver and the match referee, who he had bribed. Silver also tells the crowd after the final about their plans to expand to Cobra Kai within the establishment of multiple dojos. Miguel disappears after his semi-final and Johnny blames himself. He leaves a letter explaining how he doesn't feel like he has balance and is headed to Mexico to find his birth father to achieve that. Johnny promises to go after him to make sure he is safe. Before that, Johnny runs into Robby, who tells him that he was wrong about joining Cobra Kai and feels like he screwed up everything including his tutelage of Kenny. Johnny tells him that it will work out and that he'll be there by his side till the end. Silver plays his own games and frames Johnny Kreese for a crime that he committed and takes sole control of the dojo while Kreese heads to prison. Daniel calls in Chosen to help him fight back the oncoming threat of Cobra Kai because he cannot just give up being a sensei. The season ends with the two of them paying their respects to Mr. Miyagi-Do. Well, that's all for season 4. Thanks for watching TV Glimpse. Hope you enjoy season 5.